Hello, everyone. When you think about artificial intelligence and the companies leading the charge, the usual names probably pop into your head right away. Nvidia, with its powerhouse GPUs, is almost always first in line. Then there's OpenAI, the brains behind ChatGPT, and of course, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, which has been pouring billions into AI research. These giants dominate the conversation, and rightly so. But here's something interesting. There's another company in this space that hardly gets the spotlight, yet it might just be one of the most exciting growth stories of this decade. That company is Nebius Group, ticker symbol NBIS on the NASDAQ. Chances are, if you asked a random group of investors to name 5 AI stocks, Nebius wouldn't make the list. And that's exactly why I want to talk about it today. Because while it's flying under the radar, its growth trajectory suggests it deserves a lot more attention than it's currently getting. So what exactly does Nebius do? At its core, Nebius is building a massive AI cloud platform. Think of it as the infrastructure that other AI companies rely on to train and deploy their models. But the story doesn't stop there. Nebius also owns subsidiaries that diversify its reach into other high-potential sectors. One is Avride, which develops technology for autonomous vehicles. The other is TripleTen, an education technology company that's already making waves. On top of that, Nebius holds strategic stakes in companies like ClickHouse, a leader in open-source database platforms, and Toloka, which specializes in AI data solutions. The vision behind all of this comes from Nebius's founder and CEO, Arkady Volozh. In his most recent letter to shareholders, he described the current era as an exciting time and emphasized that we're standing at the edge of a technological leap. According to him, advancing artificial intelligence isn't just about creating smarter algorithms, it's about building entirely new infrastructure to support them. And Nebius is one of only a small number of companies positioned as true AI hyperscalers capable of handling this challenge. Now, here's where things get really compelling. Nebius is scaling up faster than most of its peers. One of its bold goals is to secure more than 1 gigawatt of power capacity by the end of 2026. If that number sounds massive, that's because it is. AI data centers require an enormous amount of energy, and this step shows just how aggressively Nebius is preparing for the future demand of AI workloads. Of course, expansion at this scale requires deep pockets. Thankfully, Nebius isn't short on resources. The company has already secured over $4 billion in capital and maintains a strong enough balance sheet to pursue further financing if needed. In other words, it's not scrambling for cash, it's ready to grow. But here's the part most investors will find surprising. Despite how under the radar this company feels, Nebius's stock has been on fire in 2025. The share price has nearly quadrupled year to date, outperforming not just Nvidia, but also fellow AI infrastructure player CoreWeave, which itself has been considered a market darling since going public. So, are these gains justified, or is this just another overhyped story? Well, take a look at the numbers. In the second quarter of 2025, Nebius's revenue jumped 625% year over year and more than doubled sequentially from the first quarter. That's blistering growth, far faster than Nvidia, CoreWeave, or most of the other big AI names. And Nebius isn't just growing in theory, it's also landing real high-profile clients. Some of its marquee customers include Cloudflare and Shopify, two major players in the tech world. Beyond that, Nebius is becoming a go-to provider for up-and-coming AI companies like HeyGen, Lightning.ai, and Photoroom. This combination of established enterprise partnerships and rising AI innovators makes for a very strong customer base. Despite all of this momentum, Nebius doesn't get the same level of buzz as its rivals. For perspective, a search on Google this year shows fewer than 1.6 million results mentioning Nebius. Compare that with CoreWeave, which has nearly twice as many mentions, or Nvidia, which absolutely dwarfs everyone with well over 100 million results. The takeaway? Investors and the media still haven't caught on to Nebius in the same way. Yet, by the numbers, Nebius is already among the fastest-growing large-cap stocks of 2025. Could it end up being the best growth story of the decade? It's certainly a contender. The demand for AI infrastructure is only just beginning. As businesses of all sizes race to build and deploy models, especially in the area of AI inference, the process of running trained models to deliver results, hyperscalers like Nebius could find themselves in the sweet spot of this technological boom. And let's not overlook the potential from its subsidiaries. Avride, for example, could expand by using autonomous robots for deliveries from restaurants and grocery stores. That's a practical use case that could explode in popularity. Meanwhile, TripleTen positions Nebius in the fast-evolving education tech industry, which benefits from the rising global demand for digital learning solutions. Now, valuation is always a sticking point. Nebius isn't profitable yet, which means we can't apply traditional earnings-based metrics. Instead, we look at sales multiples. At the moment, Nebius trades at around 147 times trailing 12-month sales, a figure that sounds extreme on paper. But with revenue more than doubling in just one quarter, that ratio becomes a lot less intimidating. If Nebius can maintain even a fraction of this momentum, its growth could easily outpace what the market is currently pricing in. To be clear, I'm not saying Nebius is guaranteed to be the single best growth stock of the decade, but based on its rapid expansion, strong capital position, marquee client list, and diversified ecosystem of subsidiaries, it's hard to ignore its potential. This is one of those companies that could go from underrated to front and center before most investors even realize what's happening. So the question I'll leave you with is this. In a world where Nvidia, Google, and OpenAI dominate the headlines, could Nebius be quietly writing the most impressive growth story of the next 10 years? This is not financial advice.